Well. Oh boy. Oh, I'm ready to make some Jon Jones fans mad today. Ooh, we're getting negative today, boys. Let's go. Now, you might be saying, well, Royalty, your Combat Sports YouTube channel, are going to give praise to Jon Jones' career, give highlights to his highlights in his career, all of that, give some praise to his achievements. Oh, no. If you're looking for that, you're on the wrong video. I'll tell you that right now. Because if you guys haven't seen yet, Jon Jones just retired and just made a joke of the UFC and his legacy. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is talk about this whole situation, give my opinions on it, and all of the recent events that have been going on. But real quick, before I get into the video, 96% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you like UFC, pro boxing, or Misfits boxing content, I post 3 to 4 times a week on this channel at least. So make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate you. But before I give my thoughts on the whole situation, let's hear it from Dana's mouth himself. Make sure I'm out of the way.
Heavyweight division, take the title away from him.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Let's fucking go, dude. Finally, they fucking do this, right? After 7 months, 8 months it's been like, where Jon Jones has basically refused to fight Tom Aspinall. Finally, it's the rightful champion of the UFC, Tom Aspinall. Let's be real. Jon Jones was never going to fight him. Jon Jones has never been the one to take risks. He's Mr. Nitpick. He's Mr. I need major advantages in the fight, whether it's age when he was a younger fighter, whether it was size when they were bringing middleweights up to light heavyweight to feed him. All of that. We can get into that later. Trust me. But there's also another clip that I want to react to because Dana talked about Tom Aspinall and how he's been done for the last year. So let's react to this clip too. See what Dana has to say about that situation, because we all have to think about how he's been doing Tom dirty this whole time.
Do I regret the time that I gave him?
Yes.
Listen, if you look at what he's accomplished in the sport, no. It is what it is. I obviously feel bad for Tom that he lost all that time and obviously money, but we'll make it up to him. Tom Aspinall's a good guy. He's been incredible through this whole process that we've gone through. He's been willing to do anything, fight him anywhere at any time and do this, and now he's like, I'll fight anybody. You tell me who and I'll fight him. So Aspinall's been great. He's going to be a great heavyweight champion for us, and I'm excited to work with him. Thank you.
Which must be refreshing for Dana dealing with people, because people forget that this is how Jon Jones was his entire career. He did this with Chael Sonnen. He got a whole event canceled because he didn't want to fight Chael Sonnen. He has always screwed over the UFC when it was convenient to him. So it was just very funny watching the UFC be in the palm of his hand for a whole 8 months when he had no respect for the company whatsoever. He really hasn't ever, because he never respected the drug policies. He hasn't respected handling himself well outside the UFC. He hasn't done any of that. He hasn't done any of it. So I've always found it funny that they valued him so high and gave him so much patience, because he's always been like this. But you know what? I've had a change of heart, I think. I just had a change of heart. Why don't we actually go through Jon Jones' legacy? Because he really is one of the greatest fighters of all time. So let's just go through it real quick. In May 19, 2012, only at the age of 25 years old, by the way, only 25, he had DUI and car accident, crashed his Bentley into a utility pole, refusing a sobriety test, and pleaded guilty to DUI. Only at the age of 25, by the way. What? God, he's so good. Hold on. That's only just the beginning of his resume, by the way. Just the beginning of his resume. In 2014, failed drug test. Booger sugar. That's all I can say on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. And don't worry, that was the only time he got a drug test violated. Don't worry about that. Next. Gosh, this is stacked. Felony hit and run in 2015. Fled the scene of a car accident that injured a 25-year-old pregnant woman. He briefly came back to grab the cash, though. So, at least he got his priorities straight. You can't knock him for that, you know what I mean? Next. July 2019, battery charge. Pleaded no contest to charge of battery against a strip club waitress accused of slapping her inappropriately. He paid a fine and avoided jail time, which is pretty consistent, to be honest, in these things. And the cream of the crop to September 2021, DV. A DV arrest. He was arrested for DV and tampering with a vehicle the night after his UFC Hall of Fame introduction. And his longtime gym cut ties with him because of this. So, you can say all you want about Jon Jones, but you can't say his resume isn't stacked. And you might be saying, well, he's a changed man, you know, he hasn't done stuff in quite a while. It's been a little bit. Forget the whole situation with the drug testers at his home. That wasn't necessarily proven that he said anything wrong in that situation. But as of like 12 hours ago, 6 hours ago when I screenshotted this, Jon Jones faced a criminal charge amid UFC retirement for allegedly fleeing the scene of an accident. So, man, you can't knock him for a man that is willing to change. You know, you cannot knock a man willing to change. You know, he's trying his best, clearly. So why am I even talking about it? You know, he's clearly trying his best. And of course, that's just allegations, because he totally hasn't shown that type of behavior in the past before. And I'm sure he didn't flee the accident because he had alcohol in his system. That's ridiculous to say. What? You definitely can't say that he isn't adding to his resume late. All these people saying Tom Aspinall's situation ruined his legacy. Look what he's doing right now. Because there's one more cherry on top to his recent great moves in mixed martial arts. Let's see what this video has to say about Jon Jones' behavior recently.
But when I went into Jon's locker room, he's bouncing around, he's having a good time. And so I got a question for you. I said, yeah, what's your question? And he says, I need somebody. And there's an individual there, and that individual was a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and was working for the commission. And he says, someone get on the ground for me, right? And so this guy, being a ground guy and being someone that was, man, I'm in Jon Jones' locker room. This is great. And so he says, I'll do it for you. He says, I know how to roll. And so he goes down and he says, just put me in guard, right? And then Jon decides to do a sexual act with him, saying, what if I do this, right? This isn't illegal, right? And the guy who was on the ground, quickly his eyes went, as big as they could get. Like, what are you doing? And I said, Jon, knock it off, right? And I helped the person up. And he goes, I'm just joking. And he goes, but really, what could you do? I said, I could disqualify you for being unsportsmanlike. Good.
Now, Jon Jones, a UFC locker room isn't Thailand, my man. That shit doesn't fly in the locker room. I know that you probably had a good old time with those people in Russia in that pool and those days in Thailand. I'm sure, God, I can only imagine. It was Disneyland for Jon Jones over there, I'll tell you that. But can't be doing that in the UFC locker room. Alright, now I can finally drop the bit. Jeez. So, this is the guy that the UFC has been backing all these years. This is the guy that the UFC has been halting the heavyweight division for like 2 years now. This is the guy that they have been making excuses for every single step of the way because they love him so much and they want to push him as the greatest of all time, which I don't understand because the two other arguments for greatest of all time are some of the most honorable martial artists the UFC has ever seen, GSP and Mighty Mouse. Literally some of the most respectable athletes that the UFC has ever seen. So I will never understand why they want to push him out of all people to be the GOAT when, all right, let's get into his real resume. Why don't we really get into it? So let's take away Daniel Cormier, which is a great win, and Gustin, great wins. Take the rest of them away. What the fuck has he done? He lost to Reyes, and all these middleweights come up, and they're 5'10", facing a 6'6" guy, and a lot of them weren't able to grapple. It was just hilarious, and even comparing him to Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall has the fastest fight average in UFC history. Jon Jones wasn't a finisher ever in his career. He had some nasty ground and pound. He had a nasty standing choke versus Leo Machado. Leo Machado, yeah, that's his name. That's definitely his name. But you get the point. It's just kind of funny, man. It's just kind of funny. I don't think he deserves the GOAT moniker, for one, because I think he's overrated in general. And also, I think that his behavior, the failed steroid test, the failed cocaine test, the entire Chael Sonnen situation where he had a whole event canceled. That's the only time that's ever happened in UFC history. And somehow Dana still loves him. Even though he did them dirty for the last 8 months. He still wants to give Jon Jones his flowers. So all of you can give him his flowers, all that. It's not going to be me. Not by any means. So all these people talking about Jon Jones' retirement, posting his highlights, all these things, I make sure that I'm using his name for views, and I'm dragging it down as much as I possibly can, because that is a frog goat. That is not my goat, in my opinion. It is not by any means. Fuck Jon Jones. It's enough in the video where I can say that. Fuck Jon Jones. And I mean fuck who he is and what he stands for, not what he would be on, because I'm not trying to get him excited. I feel like that he would probably have me next on his list or some shit like that. I don't know. And he also took Anthony Smith to decision, which is the worst crime out of anything he's done, to be honest. Which is a joke, by the way. I feel like people would think I'm a shitty person if I actually said that. Anyways, besides the fact that we can't see Jon Jones get knocked out cold by Tom Aspinall, because that's what would have happened. We all know that. That's why Jon didn't fight him. At least he's the fuck out of here forever, hopefully. Hopefully Dana doesn't have him back in light heavyweight or some sleek, sneaky bullshit. I really hope not. I'll be very upset if we see him back against anybody but Aspinall, because he definitely thinks he could tap Pereira, which I unfortunately agree with. I think there's a chance that Pereira could hurt him and knock him out, obviously, but I don't think Jones would be standing longer than 30 seconds in that fight. I'm just happy that Tom Aspinall finally has the belt. He should be like the cash cow for the UFC. People talk about Islam and all that, and they're obviously great, but Tom Aspinall is very underrated as a superstar in the UFC. He is massive in England. They could have an event in the O2, which is a very sick arena, and have him headline. That's what he deserves. That's what they should do, since they've made him wait all the time. He should main event in his hometown. I think that would be incredible. Yeah, man, I'm just happy for Tom Aspinall. I know they're probably going to run Aspinall versus Gane, which is pretty boring. I hope they run Aspinall versus Volkov, because Volkov got robbed versus Gane. Let me know if you guys agree. I'm just happy that heavyweight can start moving now, because it is kind of weak right now besides Aspinall. But now that it can move forward, something could happen, and maybe it could get better. We can see there's a few prospects that are coming in. So we'll see where heavyweight ends up. It's not going to get halted anymore by a frog goat. So that's very good. I'm very happy about that. So yeah, man, at least I'm not that crazy anymore. Most people think Jon Jones ruined his legacy. So I don't feel as alone on this take anymore, which is very good. So yeah, Jon Jones has officially ruined his legacy. Hopefully this is the last time I ever have to talk about him. Hopefully he doesn't do like influencer boxing or something like that. I don't see that happening. Or like, what is he, a part of dirty boxing or whatever it's called? He likes that. I highly doubt he's going to participate in that, because he's not going to be able to take anybody down. So I don't really see him doing that. But hopefully this is the last time I ever have to talk about Jon Jones on my channel. That is actually great. So I really got out all my thoughts about him in this video. So hopefully this is the last time. If he gets into like some other legal controversy, maybe I'll make a short about it. That's probably all he deserves out of me. I know, like, I have such a great poll with my 210 subscribers, but I appreciate all 210 of you, because you've been goated recently. I appreciate all of you. That's all I really had to talk about this whole situation. Let me know if you disagree with any of my takes down below. Yeah, that's all I had to really say. I'm sorry that I haven't posted a lot this week. I feel like it's been a very slow week, and the Baku card ended up not being very good, so I apologize. Next week, I'll be a lot better, at least 3 or 4 times a week like usual. But make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to see more of me. You shouldn't really rely on the algorithm to have me keep popping up. Is that not... That's why you guys should subscribe right there. I'm just like... I could talk about combat sports. I can make remixes mid-video. Like, why wouldn't you subscribe, to be honest? Like, it's just top-tier content. But thank you guys for listening to me yap like usual. God bless every single one of you. And peace out.
Yeah, they call me fucking pain. You steady fucking switch and stay up in your fucking lane. And shorty super soaker, I can hit your ass from range. Shorty throwing ass and you knowing where it going. Steady sipping codeine, yeah, you knowing it my potion. That ass is like Cobra, cause you throwing it in motion. Oh, we fucking lurking, oh, we creeping around the roaming. When you fucking see me, yeah, I'm out there fucking foaming. Pull up to the club and we getting really